All right, shalom, Shabbat shalom. If I'm coming in clear, man, throw a 7 in the chat. It seems as though I was having some technical issues. Whoa. Well, I can hear myself, so apparently, I'm coming out the gate fumbling. I'm coming in clear, man. Throw that 7 in the chat for you, good brother. Would you please do me that solid? All right, all praises, man. Yeah, I was having some technical issues jumping off early. But looks like I'm coming in clear. All right, all praises. Good deal. Back to the top. Shabbat shalom to the families in the house, man. It's your brother Ahmath. IQAhmath, first name IQ is all the same. Want to give all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Why help shy? You've reached another episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger, DSTM. If you know, what did I say last week? I said if you've been around, you know what I'm putting down. And if you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. That's right. You see this post that I put up here. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. You know, when all else fails, man, let all hell break loose. Feel me? That's exactly what's going on right now. And it's all bad. As you can see by the title of today's topical lesson, Trump is sending nuclear subs out to nearby Mother Russia. And that's an instigation of war. And Russia's taking it as such. So we're going to talk about that. Why is the desperate times call for desperate measures? Last week, we did a deep sea dive regarding good old number 47. His involvement with the Epstein stuff and all the other everything else. You see the economy crashing. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket, gift wrapped. And when those things start happening, that means that a false flag is like right around the corner because they're going to have to do something to initiate a huge distraction or something to shift the paradigm to bring in something new to distract or to take away everybody's preconceived thoughts, all the deep sea diving and digging and uncovering and exposing and wokeness and all this up. Once all that stuff comes out to play, there's not going to be any time to be worried about whatever else is going on in the earth. They're getting ready to pull something off that could be major. Notice I say could be. I'm not going to say going to be because we never know, man. I do flip-flops like shoes on the beach. You know what I'm saying? But before we get started, man, let me salute my brother Ashar in the house. AR 247 in the house. Shalom. Lakabar in the house. House Bayan in the house. Shalom to y'all. Rose Marie in the house, Shalom Kohath in the house, Elder Rashop in the house, Karatazar in the house, Armed Israelite, my brother Naquab in the house, Shalom, Brother Ron in the house, Shalom. Karatazar, do me a favor. I can't remember if I have y'all email, but I need to send y'all this invite. The Covenant 144 at Gmail. Email me your email. And I'll send you what I need to. Hold on 1 second, just in case. Y'all need it. You see there. The email right there below. Messengers of the Covenant 144. Where that? Hold on. Messengers. No. Shalaki. The Covenant 144 at gmail.com. Not messengers. I don't know how that got there. Or maybe I. Slucky, y'all. I'm getting thrown for a loop because I'm sitting there saying, where did that email come from? I don't recall that. You know what we do? We fix it right on the fly. How about that? How about that? All right. Slucky for the delay, y'all. There you go. Okay. Email is there, man. Send me an email, bro. I need to reach out to you about you. All right. Brandon, y'all, your email too. You send me your email as well. So email me, Covenant 144 at Gmail. All right. let me get down to business, man. Let me get down to business. Hold on. Let me move this up out of here. Because y'all can see what's going down, right? Let me fix my computer. Things looking kind of sketchy right now. Trying to pull it together. You can tell your brother seeming to be ill prepared, but I'm here. I'm here. All right. I see I'm crooked. Apologies, y'all. I'm over here looking crazy up here. All right, here we go. There we go. All right. Boom. Desperate times calling for desperate measures, man. Let's get a deep sea dive and see what's really going on in the earth, man. I want to give our praise to the Most High. Before we continue, one of the things that we have to always do is before we proceed, we got to let the word of the Lord speak, right? Because one thing, and even I've been a victim of, falling for the traps, so to speak, right? And what do I mean by that? A lot of these distractions that came out, of recent, somewhat deterred me and many others from really understanding what's going on behind closed doors, right? So 1 Peter 5:8, another scripture favorite of mine, because it instills vigilance, it instills the thought process that you can't sleep in this walk now. 1 Peter 5:8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. So our adversary, Satan, and all of his agents are constantly on the move. There's no sleeping with him. I was watching it was a second Terminator. Some of my family, we were sitting watching it. My son and my wife was watching it, and just seeing the relentlessness of this Terminator. It was the second one. I mean, bullets couldn't stop him, car crash couldn't stop him, explosions couldn't stop him. He stayed on his mission, on his path to destroy, to kill, to stop prophecies from happening. Right? That's the embodiment of Satan, the Terminator. And in the first one, it says he doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat, he will not stop until you are dead. That's what Kyle Reese told Sarah Connor. And that's exactly what Satan is doing. He's constantly on the movement while we're asleep, getting a nice little 8 hours. If you're lucky, most of us are getting 5, 6, 4. You understand what I'm saying? While we're trying to rest up this flesh and trying to get ready for the next day in hell, he's alive and awake in your dreams. He's tapping you on the shoulder as soon as you wake up, telling you don't pray. He's the one telling you, you know what? Oops, you forgot your Bible at home. Who cares? Go ahead on. Like, he's constantly on the move. He's swirling around in your household, swirling around at your job, on the streets, while you're driving next to some damn angry driver, that's got road rage. He's tripping and he's sparking you up because you were already pissed off. And now next thing you know, you're in a confrontation in the middle of the street. Those are all elements that Satan brings upon you. You wake up, you say, okay, you know what? Today I'm going to get my fast in, whatever. Or you're already fasting. You wake up, you done forgot, you're eating something, you drank something. You're like, oh, shoot, I broke my fast. Damn, what happened? Overnight, Satan came in as your adversary, roaring about, seeking whom he may devour. So with that being understood, he's got constant agents here on this earth. Even in, Micah 2, it tells you that they're talking about the so-called white man and his colonization. Let me get that real quick. And Micah 2 is another precept. Even his thoughts of domination, white supremacy, and his thoughts of manifest destiny, he's constantly thinking about how we can destroy, kill, and take away everything that is not his. Look at this. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. So they don't sleep either. You hear about these wild drug binges, these Hollywood elites is into, music executives are into, corporate executives are into. You seen and heard. Remember, I talked about remember there was an article maybe about 4 months ago that I covered, and it was talking about all the drugs that Elon Musk was carrying, ketamine, um, Adderall, all kind of damn drugs to keep him up, to keep his brain constantly moving and occupied. They don't sleep. Woe to them that advise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. Then they get to putting it into motion. You wonder why they find cocaine at the White House. Your cocaine is the upper. It keeps you up all day. Man. Meth heads, I mean, all of that. If they can't do it physically, they'll find some things to get them going. You hear about Diddy with the pink cocaine and all the other drugs they was doing. This is what they're into. But why and how do they get that particular spirit? What makes them do that is because their adversary, who empowers them, Satan, it says he walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. He's not sleeping. He's constantly on the move, on the hunt. And our enemies, they do the same thing. It says what? Because it is in the power of their hand, right? The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. So they definitely are moving around, doing what they're doing, right? Matthew 6 and let's read 22. Let's read 21, 22. And this is, these are elements of us, remaining focused and understanding what our calling is. The elder has a book, pamphlet book called Making Our Calling Sure. And, based after the scripture. And, it's important because it deals with all the elements of the spirits that come against us, the work that we have to put in, the faith that we have to acknowledge and live by in order to make our calling sure. Because although we've been called, that doesn't necessarily mean that our crown can't be taken from us, our elements and the knowledge of faith in the kingdom can be stripped from us. That's the whole game, is to have that crown stripped from you, is to have that salvation taken from you, is to make us fall, is to make us doubt, is to make us lack the faith, to be slothful, to lose diligence, to not seeking to abound. So we have to make our calling sure. And that only comes through faith and works. Matthew 6:21 says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So where is your mind at? Where your treasure is? What things do you value? Do you value the laws and the commandments? Do you value loving your brother as yourself? Do you value maintaining the law, statutes, and commandments so that you can be a better man or woman in the Lord and be an example to the flock? Do you value, the faith that it's going to take to get this kingdom that the Lord promised to his people? Or do you value money? Do you value your husband, your wife? You desire and you value wanting to get a mate? Do you value your job more? You understand what I'm saying? Do you value your idolization of LeBron James? What you know what I'm saying? Like, where is your treasure at? What things are you holding most value? Because wherever that is, if it's clinging on to the flesh and doing the elements that it takes, that's what that's where your mind is going to be at. That's where the focus is going to be. Because look at verse 22. It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, meaning what? A singular focus. And if the eye is healthy and is bearing the light, and even, what is it? Proverbs 6 and 23, I believe, tells you that the light is the commandments. If that's where your eye is, if that's what your focus is on pleasing the Most High and staying focused singularly on one goal, which is the kingdom of heaven, it says thy whole body shall be full of light. So as your mind is, your eyes is focused, that's where you're going to be embodiment. That's your illumination is going to be that light when your eye is completely focused on that. So this is an element of how and why we need to stay focused. And keeping our quote unquote eyes on the prize, as they say. The scriptures even tell us, man, don't we all run the race to win the prize? That's exactly what we're into. We're all in this race, man. All in this race. Verse 23, but if thine eye be evil, the whole body shall be full of darkness. So if you got a sickly eye that is only focused in on evil, wickedness, iniquity, lasciviousness, so forth and so on. Like that's exactly what's going to exude from your persons is evil. If that's where your focus is, if that's what you're singularly locked in on, there's nothing else that can come from that manifestation but darkness and evil, right? It says, if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? How about if you can turn on a flicker of light in the darkness? You've seen the movies, man, when everything is all dark and somebody's trying to light a lighter, and that little bit of light, is being overwhelmed by the darkness. The lighter ain't working, but you see the sparks. That spark is pretty much me. Your light is dimming and you're almost out of here. Death and destruction is knocking at the door. You understand? And that's where we're at with it. So we have to continually have a focus on what's going on, because now is the time of mass distractions going on. But they're not only distractions, but they are key moments that we got to pay attention to, because this cat, man, he's up to some real he's up to some real evil right now, man. It's getting ready to crack off. Proverbs 4:23 says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So our mind has to be continually in the spirit of diligence. This ain't the time to get slothful. This ain't the time to give in and fall off. You see men, prominent men in the word, or supposedly in the word and in the truth, falling astray, getting distracted, biting each other's noses off, going crazy. That's all part of the plan, man. If you are not focused and you are not singularly diligent in this faith and in this walk, fearing the Most High, keeping the commandments, locking in on what got you into this, you're going to get distracted. You're going to get taken away. You're going to get destroyed along the way. If you're on the sidelines and you ain't ready to jump into the game, the game might pass you up. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Our mind has to be continually diligent in this truth, man. And that's the bottom line. Let's get right to it. I want to stay focused. I want to keep things clear. Okay. Now, why do I say all of this? Because this is the last thing I'm gonna cover with this Epstein stuff, man, because it hit me in the spirit the other day, and I was like, man, what's going? I seen the article. I didn't put it in here, and I heard it on the news as well that the Trump administration has removed the reserve military from LA. As a posturing to say, hey, we just want to show our military strength, man. We'll back off, with the ICE raids. They don't need your help anymore. And then I was like, damn, you notice we are not really hearing too much more about these ICE raids anymore. You're not seeing too many of the viral videos of everybody getting, chased down and beat down and kidnapped. And, that kind of got slowed down. But what kind of overtook that? What came in as a replacement to it was, the Epstein Files, the Trump scandals, all of that. I said, this is a shift to make everybody forget about the abuses and the things that's happening to our peoples out here in these streets and in their jobs and in their churches where they shouldn't be at anyway, but nonetheless, it's happening. And we shift over here while they're over here doing dirt behind closed doors. Now all of a sudden it's like, we even forgot about that. They say that the attention span now of the average person is like a goldfish. And what do you mean by that? When you look at a goldfish, you seen this fish tank, and you trying to get the goldfish attention, you tapping on the dang tank, hoping it'll come to you like it's a dog or a cat or something. The goldfish is like, man, I'm not paying you no mind. You got a little food you put up there. They're going to jump up there and they're going to go up there and get that food. But they might go over there and look at you, swim by for a second, and they're peeling out. And that's how it is right now with the attention span of people. That's why you see all of the influencers and everybody on TikTok and everybody on Instagram. They're constantly making these reels. People are watching reels and 1 minute shorts more than they're watching full videos, documentaries, or whatever the case may be. Because why? They know that minute. That's why they instituted that thing. Remember that old app Vine, where people was making whatever little 30-second videos, and people would, that thing blew up, and I think they got it shut down, or they ended up selling it off to Instagram or something like that, and then Instagram started doing reels. I don't know what the business transaction was, but all I know was Vine is gone. But that overtook things because what? People want quick, fast entertainment. So it's all about keeping your attention. Now, if they focused away from, because you notice everything was getting heavy with the ICE teams, the Gestapo raids, and everything else, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, people is getting hip to it. They ride in the streets. They out here tripping. We got to shift the paradigm now. So now it's over here on the Trump thing. So I'm not going to get sucked into that no more. This is the last thing I'm going to do, because really the point's been proven. Everybody knows what's going on with that whole thing, man. Everybody knows it's a cover up. Everybody knows that your man 47 was in them records, as we see right here. The FBI redacted Trump's name in Epstein Files. You're hearing about, oh, they found the missing 3 minutes, and what you're seeing, orange jumpsuits going into the cell, and come on, man. I mean, I don't know who was really tripping or thought that maybe he really did kill himself, man. The admission of guilt really had him, and he really felt bad about all of the evil and the wickedness that he did, with the debauchery that he carried out with these kids and all of that. Maybe he really felt bad and he took his own life. Maybe he just felt like he couldn't do life in prison. Come on, man. We know the dude had black books, records, videos, blackmailing, top elites worldwide, money laundering. He was in, I mean, all kind of stuff, man. You know, he knew where the bodies was buried, in other words. But this right here is the last thing we can show. If the FBI redacted Trump's names in Epstein file, what does redacted mean? That means they edited it, they covered it up, just like you see literally when you see black markings over documents, that's a redaction, meaning you're taking it out for whatever reason. Now, we heard and know that Trump's name was in these particular dockets and files, and he's been mad dash scrambling, trying to cover it up and saying, this is no big deal. Why is everybody tripping about this? Hey, close that up. Nothing to see here. There's nothing on the tapes but child porn, and we watched it, and we're not going to show you guys. And shame on you for wanting to see it. Like, who's asking to see that, man? All right. Let me just finish this up, man, because I don't want to take too long on this. FBI redacted Trump's name in Epstein Files. The Bureau's FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, team tasked with conducting a final review of the records blacked out the names before higher up said last month that releasing documents would, quote, not be appropriate or warranted. Why is it not appropriate? What's the problem? What, his name in there is not appropriate? Oh, okay. Interesting. Bondi's big Epstein Files party was a bust. Pam Bondi, she was supposed to be going all in. She was going to get all this information on these files, and next thing you know, she pops out and says, there were no files. This was a hoax. Wild stuff going on, man. It turned out that the document she called declassified, which included pages from Epstein's infamous, quote, black book, had been previously released. So there was nothing to see here, nothing new. But what? Most recently, during the criminal trial of Ghislaine Maxwell 4 years earlier, the black book revealed Trump's name and the names of his wife, Melania, and other family members. So we know that he was in the files. We know that he was in that black book. They tried to black it out and redact it. And once that was understood, man, all hell broke loose. So we're off of that dude, man. We if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, man, it's a duck. Okay? Let's keep it moving. Zakar, you said a vine was only 6 seconds. Good Lord. Now you're really talking about you're really talking about a dead goldfish attention span. That is wild. Who the hell can watch a 6 second video and get anything from it? I mean, that's why for those of y'all who's of age and you remember back in the 90s and early 2000s, MTV had a show called Jackass. And in that show, man, there was a bunch of Edomites that would do the most outrageous, goofy, self-mutilating acts to get attention. And all of a sudden, the show blows up. I mean, they doing sodomite stuff with each other. They was doing all kind of evil and wickedness, man. And we used to always utilize that as a precept of talking about how Esau is the foolish nation that the Bible speaks of in Deuteronomy 32, I believe it is. You know, when Moses said, I provoke you to jealousy with a foolish nation. Yeah. you know what I'm talking about, Zakar. Jackass. And that whole spirit, man, takes over, and now it's turned into the term, quote unquote, going viral. People are just doing whatever to get attention. They were doing that back then. And what did they call the show? Jackass. And now you see people are willing to do the same type of stuff and worse. But it's the act of a jackass. And our people are willing to do that, and others following after the nations, man, doing all of that stupid stuff. So why did I bring that up? Because here, notice we see the devil is in the details, man. While everybody's chasing down, wondering whether or not, it's pretty much clear, man. We know what's going on. Are they going to do anything about it? No. It'll be hype. It'll die down. It's going to, you know, fade away pretty soon. Because what's next? Oh, all else fails, man. Get the war cracking. We've got to take the attention off of this president, man. He ain't even made it in a year and all hell's breaking loose under his administration. We've got to do something to circumvent the issues that's right in front of us. We got to get around this thing. So while we're looking at the Epstein stuff, look, Trump's domestic use of military set to get worse, a leaked memo shows. So we talked about this before. Now there's even more articles, more evidences. Remember, the scripture said the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let everything be established. Here's another witness. And I've been on record saying this is the reasoning that they will have military on the streets, or have a up ramp, or up. What's the term? Well, you know, they've already utilized, like, you know, the reserves or whatnot, man, putting military out on the streets, man. But this is going to give more reasonings for them to do so. Because look down here, the part that I put highlighted. The memo lays out the need to persuade top Pentagon officials to get much more serious. Notice it says they had to create a need to persuade the Pentagon officials. So how do you create a need? What are you going to? There has to be something out there, element of witnesses that says, hey, we need military out on the streets. It's crazy out here. People are getting shot up in bars. People are getting shot up at schools. People are getting shot over here. Lawmaking officials are getting set on fire. It's crazy out here. Illegals are running all over the streets. Rapists and murderers, and we need help. Again, getting back to the 9/11 thing with the Patriot Act and the surveillance state and everything, what they utilize? Crisis. Rahm Emanuel under Obama, I forgot what his position was under Obama, but I think Rahm Emanuel used to be a senator or mayor of Chicago. Help me out with that, Kohath. You remember Rahm Emanuel and Eric Holder. Rahm Emanuel said, never let a good crisis go to waste. Let me get that quote real quick. Where's he at? Rahm Emanuel. There you go. Damn search always.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
That went by fast. He was a mayor. Okay. That's what I thought. Let me back it up one more time. They're trying to play another damn video. I don't want this. Get out of here. Can I get back to the video that I was playing before?
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity.
Chief of Staff for President-elect Obama. So Chief of Staff, that was his position under Obama. Before that, he was mayor of Chicago.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Enough said. Enough said. It's an opportunity to do things that you thought you couldn't do before. Let me see. That's the one I want. Is it garden plot or is it yeah. I've talked about this before, and why am I going here? I'm just moving in the spirit, y'all. But just notice a couple of things, right? And we're gonna see if we can understand some of the things that's being played out right now. Operation Garden Plot, the Department of Defense civil disturbance plan, civil disturbance, right? Riots, uprisings. What's the plan? Also known by its cryptonym, Garden Plot was a general U.S. Army and National Guard plan to respond to major domestic civil disturbances within the United States. The plan was developed in response to the civil disorders of the 60s and fell under the control of the U.S. Northern Command. It provided federal military and law enforcement assistance to local governments during these times of major civil disturbances. The Garden Plot Plan, drafted after the Watts, Newark, and Detroit riots, captures the acrimonious times when the document was drawn up. The plot warns against racial unrest. Racial unrest. Who are they targeting with the immigration situation, right? As well as anti-draft and anti-Vietnam elements. Anti-draft and anti-Vietnam elements. Now, there's already been discussions prior to even Trump talking about they may bring back the draft. We know that conscription is going on in Europe already right now, with the draft happening because everybody's plotting and planning and knows that eventually World War III is going to kick in and they're going to need some fresh bodies on the field when the ish hits the fan, so to speak. So they've got operations lined up for civil disorders, so forth and so on, right? So when we're seeing these things already set up, there's another one, Operation. Dang, what's the name of the one? I'm drawing a blank. I've mentioned it a number of times. If you remember, throw it in the chat. It's basically the operations that the government was going to do to initiate false flags. They were talking about doing bombings, shootings of their own people, blowing up malls, all kind of stuff, and blaming it on Cuba at the time because during the Cold War, they were trying to get a reason to shut down Cuba. I can't remember Operation. What is that, man? And I always be tripping when I can't remember. I got to find it. Operation Northwoods. There you go. All praises. There we go. Operation Northwoods. And this is Wikipedia, but they got it. I've showed the actual documents before. So there you go right there. It's declassified. You can see right there. So it's not just some old made up. Somebody added this into Wikipedia. It's legitimate. Here we go. Operation Northwoods was a proposed false flag operation that originated within the Department of Defense of the U.S. government in 1962. The proposals called for the CIA operatives to both stage and commit acts of terrorism against American military and civilian targets and blame them on the Cuban government. That's all I need to do. Why are they trying to do that? To do what? Justify war against Cuba. Did you hear that? So do not ever think that they are above sacrificing their own for the quote unquote greater good. Notice it said that they will use the CIA operatives to stage, and they would also be committing acts of terrorism against the American military and who? You, me, and everybody else. All right. So when we see this, and they're saying, hey, It's going to get worse. We're going to need, so Operation Garden Plot, why are they saying we're going to need more troops on the streets? What's going to be happening? What's going down? Let's figure it out. Walk with me. Trump's admin, secret talks with Moscow are, quote, fruitless as Putin boasts troops advancing along an entire front line. So, in other words, all of the calls, all of the negotiations with Russia is turning up fruitless. So, this is why the hopeful, maybe we won't, hopefully Trump will be the president of peace, like he said. Maybe he'll be able to talk, but maybe Putin is really scared and he's going to. Maybe you should shut up and allow the Spirit of the Lord to move on this place, because there's nothing you, I, or anybody else, including a cabinet of senators and Democrats and a right and left paradigm in the White House, is going to be able to get on the phone and say, "Hey, let's calm this thing down." It is not going down. And don't get me wrong. I'm trying to get my household and my spirit and everything in preparations too. The scriptures say, man, woe to you that desire the day of the Lord. I'm not saying I desire it. I'm saying you can't avoid. This is what's happening. And you got to talk about it. You got to put it out there on the table, man. Why? Because as watchmen, you have to warn the people. Ezekiel 33:3 and verse 3, and chapter 3 tells us, hey, man, if you don't go out there and you warn the people and you don't come, hold on. Let me get it because I don't even want to butcher it. If you know what time it is, Ezekiel 33:1, it says that again, the word of Yahweh came unto me saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people. Who's the Most High concerned with? Who needs to get this warning? Who needs to be brought up to speed on what's getting ready to go down in this place, man? The children of thy people, the children of Israel. And say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. So that's why the Lord said, man, go out there, prophesy to the wind if you have to. Whether they hear or they forbear, blow, sound the trumpet. Well, what's the trumpet? Isaiah 58 tells us, lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show thy people their transgressions. We're trying to wake our people up on the highways, on the byways, on the information highways, on the internet, emails, texts, instant messaging. Telegram. Israel is all over the damn place. The Israelites are all over the place trying to warn our people. Why? Because the Lord said, do that, warn them. And if they don't take heed, they don't take to the warning, and the sword come and destroy him, his blood is on his own head. It's our job to say, Lord, I did my job, hands washed. Verse 5, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, if the watchman is too distracted and caught up in his own little hype and caught up in his own little world, that's why this internet thing can be dangerous, because you got to understand what the motivation of the watchmen are now. You know, this generation that we're into now, this next phase in Israel, you know, not to discredit, but there are some jakes out here, man, that's not really sincere for the cause, man. They're looking for a name in the nation. They're looking for money. They're looking for fame and adoration. They're looking for women. They're looking for views. They're looking for whatever, and lose focus on the job. The Most High, even Yahweh told us, he said, now is the time for the true worshipers to worship him with spirit and truth. Why would he even put that caveat out there? Because obviously there's going to be some false worshipers. There's wolves in sheep's clothing, and we've heard it all. And it ain't just the Israelite community. I mean, it all over the place. Everybody just seen Umar Johnson get caught up. He's out here panhandling on these internet streets, saying he needs money. I mean, when hasn't he said he needs money? First is for the school. Now his bank account's froze, and it's under fraud investigation, and he needs your money. Help him so he can take care of him and Mama Infatunde, or whatever his mama's name is. Eventually, man, the wool gets pulled over. I mean, off your eyes, and you go see what's really going on. But if you've got watchmen and men that's out there, man, they talk about is hustling and coming up, and I'll sell you this, sell you that, and give me this, give me that. And they know swords coming. They understand things is coming down the pipeline. They ain't saying nothing. They teaching prosperity, gospel in the truth. Like, get up out of here. It goes on. Or they too busy talking about everything but what's coming down the pipeline? Hey, take note. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So we're held accountable if we don't speak on what's going on. So when we're talking about Operation Garden Plot, we're talking about Operation Northwoods, and we're seeing fruits. I mean, seeing people's out here on the streets getting accosted and kidnapped and destroyed and disappeared, and camps being set up and detention centers being lined up, and food prices and shortages and famines is coming down the pipeline, and the economy began getting shut down, and people not having the means to survive. What that turns into desperation, which only means that the spirit is going to really get turned up here. So when we're seeing this happen, and it says, hey man, look, things ain't going well with these talks with Russia in America, that only lets us know that the prophecy that the scriptures speak about regarding World War III, the three woes in Revelation 11 and Revelation 17 speaking about the warfare, and 16 speaking about warfare, and 18 speaking about warfare, 9 speaking about warfare, chapter 8. I mean, it goes on and on. Then we've got to know that the inevitable is knocking out the door. Let's look at this. We're going to read down here. Both Russia and Ukraine must negotiate a ceasefire and durable peace. It is time to make a deal. President Trump has made clear this must be done by August 8th. So right now he's saying that they've got 6 more days. Remember before he said 50 days. And that's so interesting because remember, even Yahweh told us that the time will be cut short for the elect's sake, lest no flesh will be saved. So speeding up the time, changing the deadlines, that only goes with the spirit that Christ even said is going to be happening in the earth. Things are going to be getting cut short. I mean, look at us. We're already in August, 8 months into the year of 2025. This year done went by like this. If y'all haven't noticed, tell me, put a 7 in the chat if you guys have noticed that time seems to be moving faster. And days are going by like this. Months are flying by. And before you know, we're sitting back saying, damn, we're already at the end of the year. 2026 is right here. Halfway through the year already, well over half. We're in the quote unquote 8th month. Time is moving, man. So when Trump says, hey, you got 50 days to come to a peace agreement or else, now he doubled back and said, switch that to 10 days. Now it says it got to be done by August 8th. The United States is prepared to implement additional measures to secure peace. Oh, additional measures. Because remember, when he first said that, he was saying, I'm going to lay heavy sanctions on them. But now we're seeing, we're sending nukes over there, nuclear armed submarines over there by August 8th. A week from now? No, but our people is too worried about, man, NFL preseason, getting drunk, getting high, chasing skirts, running around, trying to seduce a man, trying to get somebody to pay your bills and pay your damn, fly you out for whatever. Too busy trying to get your right angle on your Instagram post, snap a picture of your butt cheeks. I mean, that's more important right now, right? The United States is prepared to implement additional measures to secure peace. U.S. diplomat John Kelly told the UN Security Council, according to Reuters. Really? Okay, well, let's look at this. Moving in. Donald Trump orders nuclear submarines to be moved near Russia as he blasts foolish nuke threat from Putin crony. Foolish nuke threat, huh? Let's look at this real quick. Luke 14 tells us, one thing about us when we come into this truth, right? And Let's look at verse 25. And this is one thing that we got to understand and know. You know, anytime we do a orientation of membership or just overall counsel, then you gotta be no member of a congregation or our congregation, whatever. Somebody new's coming in the truth or really getting acclimated to understanding what this faithful walk is. This is one of the scriptures that we always bring up, right? Luke 14:25 down. It says, and there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them. So this great multitude is going after following Christ. They're not really understanding. They are so amazed and they're seeing the miracles, they're seeing the power that's, Yahweh displaying, they're seeing the discipline that the disciples are walking with him in, and they want to follow him. And he said, hold on, before you start following me, let me tell you something. You're going to make some sacrifices. You're going to make some efforts in your faith. You're going to be tried and tested by even those that's most close to you. It's not an easy walk. What did he say unto them? Verse 26, if any man come to me and hate not his father and his mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, and yea, in his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. He said, first of all, and many of us can attest to this. When you first came into this truth, man, who became your greatest opposition, man? But why did he mention these people, your family members, and even your own particular self-struggles, your own personal aspirations and goals? Is because that is what will affect you the most, and that will be your biggest stumbling block. Your family, yourself. When he says hate, he doesn't mean with malice or vitriol. He's meaning you have to love them less. You got to prioritize. So when you first come into the truth, and you got to tell your family, hey, you know what? I'm not coming to Thanksgiving dinner no more. Christmas, I'm out. Easter, negative. 4th of July, the annual, yearly Johnson family, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. Me and my family's out. That's loving less. That's hating your father and your mother, because what are you doing? You're telling them, I love Christ more than I love you. When it comes down to these commandments and so forth and so on, do I have an obligation to keep the law and honor you? Absolutely. But how do I honor you? I'm going to honor you by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and not standing your name. I'm going to be a representation of what it is to be right in this household. I'll make you proud by doing that. I'll give you honor through those means. I'm not going to honor you because I'm over there and Grandpa Joe says, hey, son, go get me a pack of smokes. Go to the store and pick me up a pack of smokes in a 40 or OE. You going to do that, or you going to hate the fact that Grandpa Joe is acting a fool? No, Grandpa Joe, I'm not doing that no more. You used to do it every year, boy. I raised it. Not no more. I love myself and I love the Most High more. Can't do it. See the difference? It's not you throwing them in a pot of hate and malice. No, you got to prioritize. Got to love them less. Hate not his father, mother, wife, children, and all will come against you. Many of us have came into the truth, and you're already married. And what's that already create? Man comes in the truth, wife ain't. She giving you hell. Vice versa. Woman comes in the truth, husband ain't in the truth, he's giving you hell. Your children don't want to get in order. What do you do? While you're in those are all matters of counsel, but notice that these are all going to be the problems that come into play. And it says, in his own life also, meaning you might have been on a highway on a mission of scamming and scheming and getting money and doing all this and all things that are illegal and detrimental, defiling yourself. Who knows what? The Lord said, if you are not ready to sacrifice that part of your life, you can't be my disciple. Your religious convictions, everything. The Lord said, look, you're going to have to unlearn all of that stuff. Your own life, how you thought your life was going to go. Anyway, especially me, I came in the truth young. I had the truth. I was like 19. No, I was 20. And I was like 20 when I first got the truth. Wasn't even old enough to drink yet, legally, quote unquote. My life wasn't even planned out. I'm figuring out what's my life going to be, what I'm going to do, what's my dreams, what's my goal, what am I? And the Most High said, no, no, and no. You're going to do this. And I fought with it for a minute. I said, oh, come on. I'll just take the knowledge. Why I got to do all this other stuff? It took me a minute to get it figured out. Like, nah, this is it. That's my quote unquote calling. My predestination lot in life was to do what I'm doing right now. And I had to give off of any thoughts of my own life, what I thought my life was going to turn out to be. No, out of here. Because my desire was to follow Yahweh Shai. Verse 27, whosoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. So it's going to come with a cross of crucifixion. It's going to come with oppressions and problems and trials and so forth and so on, right? And if you're not prepared and ain't ready to deal with that, the Lord said, you ain't ready. You're not ready to bear the same things that I've gone through. Persecution, lies being told about you, all kind of stuff. So if you ain't prepared to deal with that, you ain't got thick enough skin to deal with that, man, don't even worry about it. Verse 28, for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it? So we got to always calculate, what's it going to take to make it happen? And do I have enough to finish the job? Can't go in saying, well, I got enough to start it. I don't know if I'll be able to finish. You can't do that. You got to be in it for the long haul. You got to calculate everything in the spirit, physically, mentally, everything's got to be done all the way to the end. Because what's going to happen in verse 29, lest happily after he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him. See, I knew it was just a little cult that he was in. Oh, that was just a little stage in his life and her life she was going through. I knew that man that was over there, he was controlling you and doing that. See, I knew he was going to get another woman, and that's what you get. And that you're going to get all of that stuff is coming down the pipeline. Now, Israel sitting in the bleacher stands all the way in the front row is waiting to throw rock, stones, bread, and everything else at you. If you stumble, you fall, or you fall off and you leave the truth, all hell is going to break loose. You're going to be the mocking of everyone. Right. Verse 30, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. But here's verse 31 where I wanted to really look at as well. Or what king going to make war against another king? So this is what we're, leading up to and understanding what happens between kingdoms, warfare, and initiations, and back behind the door negotiations that happen during these times. What king's going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. So they calculate all of those things before determinations are made. They have private and secret councils going on behind closed doors, and they're discussing, saying, what should we do? Hey, look, your name is getting smeared in the mud, man. The people are losing confidence in you. Your approval rating is dropping. We're seeing everything that's happening in the earth right now. We got to make some moves, man. What should we do? And he said, well, what do you think we should do? I need my name out of here. I want the people to love me again. Well, sir, we're saying that you need to cut that 50 days down to 10. We need to send a couple of nukes over there. We need to flex our muscles against Russia. We got to send a warning shot over there. We got to, get the economy back on track, fire such a. They're in council right now. Notice this. Proverbs 20:18 says, every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. This has been plotted and planned for a long time now. He's just the one that they've been selected to go out there and push the issue and put it forward. The councils have already happened. The councils have already happened. Now it's about putting it into effect. So when we see, cut the time down. Yeah, here we go. Proverbs 25:8 says, go not forth hastily to strive. So you ain't supposed to jump in and just hastily jump into a confrontation and striving or whatever, if you don't allow wisdom and understanding to come into play, if you're just a hothead and you're just quick to jump into something, the Lord said that could be detrimental to you. Go not forth hastily to strive. If you notice him, he's constantly cutting things short, changing up, doing this, that, and the third. So when he says 50 days, dropping it down to 10, he's hastily going in to strive. But what could be the balance of that? It says, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. So when it all said and done, man, making these hastily decisions, it says that your neighbor will put you to shame. What's going to happen to America because of these hasty decisions that's being made? They're going to be put to shame. As we know, the judgment of America is fire, right? Moving in. Donald Trump orders nuclear submarines to be moved near Russia as he blasts foolish nuke threat from Putin crony. The move by the commander-in-chief comes after what Trump called, quote, a foolish statement by former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, who warned the United States is taking drastic steps towards war with Moscow. That's how they're receiving. The former Russian president, who's an authoritative voice for Russia, still says that America's moving closer to trying to get it cracking with us. The two superpowers have been engaging in a war of words after Medvedev, who is the current deputy chair of Russia's Security Council, that's why I said he's still a voice over there, knocked Trump for, quote, playing the ultimatum game in the White House efforts towards ending the war in Ukraine. Trump initially gave Putin a 50-day deadline to end the conflict before suddenly shortening it to 10 days from July 29th due to a lack of progress on Moscow's behalf. So as of right now, why they say they're going to take additional measures, because like I said, the initial thing was hit them with heavy sanctions and let's see what happens. Well, if it's just going to be about economic warfare, why are you sending 2 nuclear-armed submarines over there? That's the additional measures. So in case they don't take heed, or in case they want to do something after the 8th, we're prepared. Or, speaking on behalf of, Esau in the U.S., they're saying if something goes left, we're already over there. This is almost like a flex. You know what I'm saying? Like you telling somebody, man, have the lunch money at 10 o'clock. You roll up on them, man, and next thing you know, they ain't got the money. You cock your fist back and you say, man, you give me the money. I'm not paying. Okay. Now either you're gonna swing or what you gonna do. So the flex of sending over them nuke subs, man, that's why Russia's saying, oh, you moving like that? Okay, you moving drastically towards war with us then. Let's look. Trump planning shock and awe. Russia sanctions. So that's what he's trying to do. Cripple the economy, hit him with heavy sanctions. I mean, but we're already seeing the tariffs went into effect yesterday. The stock market reacted. Stock market, crypto, everything said, oh, snap. Everything down. Everything crashed. Now that you know them tariffs ain't looking too good for us. Look. So economically, he's thinking, I'm going to go hit them so heavy, man. They're going to have to come begging for change. No, not going down. All right. So we've got until next week to see what happens. Not saying that the nukes is flying at that day, but we're going to see, is there going to be a military reaction and posturing by Russia? What is going to be the results of these economic sanctions? What happens when China, Iran, and the rest of the BRICS nations come together and say, hey, you know what, we're not going to let you do that to Russia. We're going to get their back economically, and if you're trying to keep pushing over here with them damn nukes, we're going to give them adequate backing in the event that it goes with. We don't know what the complete reaction is going to be, but we know there's got to be something that comes down. I wouldn't even be surprised, man, if next week, the way that Agent Orange be flip-flopping, man, he double back and say, I'm going to give you 10 more days after 8. Watch for that, too, because he's always switching up. So let's continue and see. Here's another thing. When we're talking about garden plot, we're talking about Operation Northwoods, man. This week alone, there's been, I think, 4, quote-unquote, open and mass shootings. Everybody heard about this guy, Shane Tamura, over there in New York, killed 4 people, shot up a building in Manhattan. There's another, we'll see him in a minute, right? But before we go there, let's look at a couple of scriptures too about this, because, even Yahweh Shai, when he told us it's going to be like the days of Noah, Matthew 24 and let's look at 36. 24 and 36 says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So what are we talking about? The second coming of Yahweh Shai, man, and the judgment and the end of the earth, of the world as we know it, right? Not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in to marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So it didn't happen right away. There was a whole lot of transitioning of people that had to faith, had to be shown and proven and judged based upon their disbeliefs. Just like we read earlier about Ezekiel and the watchman blowing the trumpet. And people not taking heed. The Lord said, don't worry about it. Their blood is not on your hands no more. They're going to die in their own iniquity. Right? So there has to be a collection of time when people are doing that. So even when I was watching, I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Greenland. I was watching the movie Greenland earlier this week. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody who might want to watch it, but the plot is that there's going to be a comet or a meteor that hits the Earth, and obviously everybody's scrambling, knowing that it could be everybody's last days. There's a military bunker that's set up in Greenland that the government is selecting particular individuals to survive so they can try to rebuild and carry on America, which is interesting because when Trump came into office, one of the struggles or one of the political movements that he wanted to do was to seize Greenland, and not only Greenland, but if y'all remember Panama as well. He wanted those particular territories to be American. And I thought about that when I seen the movie. I said, man, this dude is trying to get Greenland again too. Is it art imitating life or is it real? If anybody's seen it, if you haven't, go check it out. Greenland. It's on HBO Max, but it might be on some other things too. That's where I saw it. But it's a good movie though. Why do I bring that up? Because in the movie, man, the comments is hidden. People are scrambling. All hell's breaking loose on the earth. And there's one scene where there's people partying on the roof, chilling, drinking, and hanging out. They watching the comments come down. They're like, yeah, like they're celebrating their last days on earth, i.e. Prince with we're going to party like it's 1999. You're going to have some ignorant ass people that's going to say, man, they're going to see earth going haywire and they're going to say, let's celebrate. Hey, this could be our last day. Let's party. Let's get drunk till we black out. Let's have sex until whenever. Yeah. Let's drug up. Let's do anything we wasn't able to do. We're going to do it before we die. Yay. Those types exist and they're going to be around. That's the days of Noah. It's already spiritually going on in here, but you're literally going to have people doing that. One thing that they did that Matthew didn't document as well, that Yahweh Shai didn't tell them as well. But if we flash back, he said partying, giving in the marriage and everything else. But also Genesis 6:11 says the earth was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. So we're seeing a lot of violence going on just in this week alone. I don't remember a week that had this many open shootings in public places, grocery stores. I think it was grocery stores, bars, NFL buildings. I mean, look, take notes, y'all. Document anything, you got to look and see, but damn, this happened that day. That all in the span of 7 days? Let's look at this with Habakkuk. Chapter 1. It says, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Lord, how long shall I cry and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence and thou wilt not save. Why dost thou show me iniquity and cause me to behold grievance? For sporting and violence are before me, and there are that rise up strife and contention. Habakkuk is looking at the same stuff we were looking at during the times of Babylon. He's looking like, damn, it is going down out here, man. Our people being persecuted out here in the streets, man. The heathen is out here wilding out on our people, man, let alone on each other. I'm looking at violence, iniquity. I'm looking at upheavals, the bloody city. Habakkuk is doing the same thing I'm doing, that y'all are doing in Babylon, let alone here we are in spiritual Babylon, right? So this is how you know that things are cyclical in the Most High and in the spirit. And as we're saying our prayers every day, or hopefully you are, I do, but as we're saying them, Lord, when I continue, I don't want to be vain in that, but try to remember to say your prayers daily, y'all, and your supplication to the Lord, man. Acknowledge Him in all our ways, and He'll direct your paths. But the Lord also told us through Habakkuk that Habakkuk was crying to the Most High, like, dang, Lord, I'm crying out, and ain't nothing changing. It seems to be getting worse. He said, but why are you showing me all this iniquity? And our people is out here acting the fool, and they're being evil as all outdoors, and we're praying, saying, why in the heck can't they get it right? Violence before us, right? Verse 4, therefore the law is slack, and judgment doth never go forth, for the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgments proceedeth. So we're seeing an overtaking of judgment. Overtaking of wickedness, man. Even Yahweh told us, man, because iniquity hath abounded, the love of many shall wax cold. We're seeing that now, man. Everybody's getting ready to get into mode of me. I gotta make it. I gotta survive. My family, forget what you got going on, man. The love of many is going to wax cold, and it's going to get even worse. Ezekiel 7:23 says, make a change, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. And it's going on all over the world. It ain't just Babylon. I mean, this is going on all over the place. Right? Even Matthew told us. Is that Matthew 24, slacking. And right here, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So cold shoulders is going on out there, man. We seeing a whole lot of things happening out here in the earth, violence-wise. I mean, this is what's happening, man. So I say that to say, man, make sure y'all send your prayers up for you go outside, for your driving, your commute. We know that our enemy has no problem enacting Operation Northwoods, especially now when you're looking for a reason to start a war with Iran, looking for a reason to start a war with Russia, saying, hey, we've got ISIS and Taliban terrorists already operating in the land. Why not capitalize on all these particular shootings going on? I mean, this guy has a documented history of mental illness. They got no problems winding them types up, man. Utilizing them, MK Ultra, you name it. Motivating and getting somebody pumped up to go out there and do something. You understand what I'm saying? So we know about Shane Tamura. Look at this guy. Virginia lawmaker is doused with gas and set on fire at the magazine where he works at. City councilman. Here's this guy. A Virginia lawmaker was doused in gasoline and set on fire inside his office Wednesday in what authorities say was a personal attack. Danville City Councilman J. Lee Vogler, 38, was at work at Showcase Magazine at around 11:30 a.m. when a man entered the building, confronted him, and poured flammable liquid on him. Police said the suspect burst in carrying a 5-gallon container full of gas, which he dumped on top of the politician, his boss, and the magazine owner, Andrews Brooks said. So this guy gets set on fire live. He's working as a Virginia lawmaker and the city councilman. Remember, even in 2 Ezra 15, it says, they will not regard the princes or the kings. Seditious behavior is going to be happening. On alert. Anaconda shooting leaves 4 dead as Montana cops hunt for a 45-year-old suspect, Michael Paul Brown, who opened fire at a bar. So not only is it happening in Virginia, not only is it happening in New York, small spots like Montana. And this guy's still on the loose, man. He's ex-military. They said he's hiding out in the mountains right now. Goes in the bar, shoots up 4 people, man. Got up out of there. So violence upon violence upon violence, man. And this is all during this week. 11 people stabbed at a Walmart in Michigan.
Breaking news here tonight. Authorities say at least 11 people were stabbed at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan today. 6 of the victims are in critical condition tonight. The other 5 are in serious condition. Police say the suspect is now in custody. Investigators are not yet saying what the motive may have been. A spokesperson for the Bentonville-based corporation said, quote, "Violence like this is unacceptable. Our thoughts are with those who were injured, and we're thankful for the swift action of first responders." Breaking news.
First responders. Here's the first. Here's the first responder. Right there.
They don't believe how
that
toxic
detail
this
out
is.
there, right?
If you're still using a plastic or wooden
Former
cutting
Marine
board,
who stopped
you need to hear
Walmart
this.
stabbing speaks
I never
out.
post.
Throw the knife that way! Throw it away!
This morning, a hero who helped stop a man accused of stabbing.
That way!
See how they don't give a Jake no damn credit. They say the first responders. It was the first responders that helped and got this thing under control. No, it's a brother that was moving right out there. And when we was out in Detroit last year, that was something that it's always, it's like, even when we was in Arizona and the Quab, you know, we was tripping like, damn, y'all can just open carry like that? Or I think it's open carry. And I know in Detroit, you got to be open. If it's concealed, they're going to question you. I ain't going to throw a brother out there, but his brother we was with, he had his thing concealed and cops rolled up on us and they was like, "Hey, what you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, my bad," you know. And they was like, "All right, yeah, as long as we can see it, man, it's all good. We're out of here." And I was like, damn. If that was out here, man, we'd have had billy clubs upside the head, mace, and probably one of us might have got shot, thrown in the damn jail. They ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that was interesting to me. It's a culture shock, so to speak, man. But hey, man, brother was moving right out there in Walmart, man. And now he's able to subdue this guy, but they didn't want to give him credit initially. They said, "Oh, it's because of the first responders."
Throw it away!
This morning, a hero who helped stop a man accused of stabbing multiple people.
Now, the brother shouldn't be holding a gun like O-Dog, but nonetheless, he did his job.
People at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan, speaking out exclusively with ABC News.
I didn't think of anything other than trying to get him away from people and get him isolated and get him to put the knife down.
Former Marine Derek Perry says he was checking out at the Walmart Saturday afternoon.
Well, we ain't gonna go through all of that for time's sake, but I just wanted to show that as well. You know, brother was on point, man.
News here tonight. Authorities say at least.
Let's move on.
Creating an inviting, inspiring room for your child is easy at Living Spaces, where our kids and teens collections offer
to take you out to Reno, Nevada, where authorities are about to give their second update of the day on the deadly casino resort shooting. Let's take you there live right now on Live Now for Vox.
Yeah, just like half of that. Yeah, just I'm going to ask you to go to the other side after I told you to go to the side. I'm going to be obtuse and do that. So
they're all over the place, man. Anyway, man, there's another shooting in Reno, Nevada. 3 people dead, several was injured. Again, that's all in this week. This was at a casino in Reno, right? So imagine this is what's going on all this week. Why do I say? Because here that they're planting the seeds. Planting the seeds to say, "Oh, can we get a Northwoods off? Can we get Operation Northwoods jump off?" Man, we already got a number of patsies out there doing what they do. Now we just need a real mass one to jump off. Now we just maybe need somebody to run up in somewhere with a bomb strapped to them so that we can have a reason to initiate warfare, so that we can have a body count, so we can take away the attention from Epstein. We can take away the attention from the failing the economy. We can take away the attention from, food prices, so forth and so on. We need something to be instituted so that we can go ahead on and get a new world, NWO going.
You don't like some of the
No, we're not gonna go there. All right. But that's the point to be proven, man, regarding that, right? He said they're saying that the shooter in Vegas might have did it because he got put on child support by his baby mama. But there you go. Yeah, it was a Jake too, right? Which is very interesting too, because now, you know, that ain't typically our nature, man, unless we doing it again with each other. You know what I'm saying? With the gangbanging and all that other stuff. But those are against our quote unquote, against their targeted enemies, so to speak, not just random mass shooting. That ain't how we usually get down. But you see the brother over there in New York, and now you see I believe the brother over there in Vegas having that issue. Point of the matter is, be careful out there, Israel. Our enemies is definitely allowing, or if not allowing, just the spirit alone is being turned up of where people are resorting to violence. I mean, and part of it is pressure busting pipes, dealing with economic situations, man. Like you know, the crowd just put in the chat. You said, man, the dude might have went wild because baby mama put him on child support. Who knows what financial situation he was already in, that he just went wild and lost his dang mind. Hashima, in that video, and I don't know if anybody else seen it, this is another thing. And I watch this whole video, and sometimes I watch it till I get the point, and then I'll turn it off, depending on what it is. But if y'all didn't see that video of the sister in Maryland, I think she was in Baltimore, they got pulled over by the police and had the trunk stuffed with bags and suitcases and all kind of stuff, man. And the police pulled over. They start smelling something coming from the trunk. They tell her open it up, man. And good Lord, her niece and nephew, man, she done killed them. Ages, I think they was 5 and something like that. Yeah, Hashima, that one was rough. Most time I'll be like, you know, I'll get through most of the stuff. I was like, what the hell? If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, there's a viral video. I think the video had like 17 million views in a matter of 3 or 4 days by the time I seen it. But disgusting video, man. Sister then killed her niece and nephew, man, and riding around with them in the trunk for months. And the bodies are decomposing and all that, man. The police didn't even know how to react. I mean, they was freaking out when they seen the dang body. It was disgusting. It was bad news, man. Real black eye in the game for our people. But that's violence going on in the earth, man. And just the curse of nature that our people are accustomed to living by. But it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, some of y'all have seen it. It was bad. But getting back on track now, so we see the spirit of violence going on. We're seeing the possible reasons as to why they may push the issue with the black swan to initiate war. They're already posturing and positioning themselves. America is to start a war, right? The president is in a major scandal. And speaking of that, that just popped in my head as well. If you've not seen the movie Wag the Dog, see, I'm always going to give you a little reference to go back because Israel's visual. Israel, we like to see it. It helps us bring it to life. That's where the advent of AI and all that, you know, some brothers and sisters are using AI to bring scripture to life and making comic books or at least little cartoons, and that's all good. But Wag the Dog, president was in the midst of a scandal, and he had to go make a speech to a peace talk to go have, I think, with Korea or something like that. I can't remember the other nation. But they created a fake war to distract everybody away from the president's scandal so that they can deal with it on the low. But if you haven't seen Wag the Dog, man, watch that movie because this is exactly what we're into right now. President is in the midst of a potential scandal, not even potential, it's a scandal. And we're seeing all of the things that he promised were lies. The economy's all jacked up. What and how do you get up out of it, man? Get a war jumping off. Wag the Dog, watch that. Greenland, watch that. Homework for you. All right. Here's something else that we see here. And this is another thing where you see that it's complete foolishness, right? If you remember a couple of weeks back, I showed an article where they were talking about California was mulling the idea of having a $30 minimum wage. Y'all remember that? They talking about raise the minimum wage to $30. Now, if you got to do that, man, what should be what does that mean for the average cost of living here in California? If minimum wage is $30, how much is it going to be actually to survive out here? But look what the history shows. Did California's fast food minimum wage reduce employment? So remember, they boosted it up to $20. Everybody working at McDonald's, Taco Bell, El Pueblo, wherever, $20. You know, people was celebrating, thinking, "Oh yeah, we're finally getting this money." Really? I said a long time ago, back in 2010, when Obama said we're raising minimum wage to $17. And by the time it did, it was, and I remember being out of doubt at a conversation. I said, by the time it gets to $17, man, the cost of living is going to be so outrageous. It's going to be like you still making $10 an hour. And sure enough, that's what was going on. And here we see it again. They boosted up to $20 an hour. And guess what? People start losing their jobs because what? The employers, them companies were saying, well, we can't pay you that and pay for your benefits. We're going to give you the $20, but we're reducing your hours. You're going to be part-time now. We can't spread the wealth like that. We got to lay some people off. And that's exactly what happened. Look at this. We analyzed the effect of California's $20 fast food minimum wage, which was enacted in September 2023 and went into effect on April 2024 on employment in the fast food sector. And in unadjusted data from the quarterly census of employment and wages, we find that employment in California's fast food sector declined by 2.7% relative to employment in the fast food sector elsewhere in the United States from September 2023 to September 2024. So what does that mean? In other words, man, all money ain't good money. All right. So even though they raised it up within the year, more people were losing their jobs, losing hours, having to get multiple jobs in order to try to survive, thinking that $20 an hour is a gold mine. Not even in the least. Not even in the least, man. 18,000 jobs total was lost based upon that. And people thought it was going to be happy days to hear again. No. Even with the UPS strikes that happened a couple of years ago, they boosted them up $50 an hour and all that. They were getting laid off. Not too long after that. So, you know, don't fall for the okie doke, man. Look, even top earners are falling behind on credit card and car payments. Everybody's feeling it. Rich, poor, doesn't matter. Everybody feeling it one way or the other, man. Check to check has become the new standard in most households. Okay. Upper income Americans are increasingly falling behind on credit card and auto loan payments, signaling an underlying vulnerability in the U.S. economy as the labor market slows. Trump said that everything is up, man. Everything's looking good. This dude cannot stop lying, man. And I didn't put it in here, but it's okay. I'm gonna send it to one of the brothers because I know he'll like it. The guy can't stop lying, man. You know, we see here delinquencies on such debts from those making at least $150,000 annually have jumped almost 20% over the last 2 years, faster than for middle and lower income borrowers, according to the credit score firm VantageScore. So people that are making $150,000 or more, their delinquencies in car loans and credit card payments jumped 20% faster than people that were already, you know, middle and lower income. So in other words, middle and lower income was still already behind. But guess who is zooming right past them? People that got bread, that was out there swiping and doing whatever. Like now everybody's in the mix. So when that happens, you already know it's going to create more desperation for people that's out here, man. It's going to create more economic downturn, turmoil. And you know what happens when that goes down? People start getting desperate. Look, economy updates. After a weak jobs report, Trump fires that agency's commissioner. See, all hell's breaking loose in there. Hours after data showed cracks in the U.S. economy, President Trump said without evidence that Erica McIntyre rigged the data to, quote, make the Republicans and me look bad. This guy is so proud and so arrogant, man, that he says, now that's a conspiracy. The jobs report that came out in June, they said, oh, they made 140,000 some odd jobs and exceed expectations, but the job market is booming. And then they was like, she goes in and studies the books and said, this is a lie. This is wrong. This is wrong. They over. Here's the correct numbers. Puts it out there. And now he says, hey, you rigged and you cooked the books, man. You're fired. In other words, man, you weren't supposed to put that out there. Everybody's supposed to believe that I'm creating these jobs. There ain't no damn. Everybody knows. You got mass layoffs in its own governmental offices. People looking for jobs right now. Unemployment's up. Ghost jobs is up. Ain't nobody. What are you talking about? There was jobs out there, man. I know people looking for jobs and ain't nothing cracking. So let's knock it off. She goes out there and puts out the truth and gets fired for it. So they only had 73,000 jobs. They try to say there was 140 some odd thousand jobs, but the dude be lying. Fired his economic the data whatever her position was. She's supposed to track economic data. Fired her because he said you're trying to make me look bad. You're already looking bad, man. What the hell is he talking about? Already looking bad. Look at this. Trump tariffs will raise the cost of food for Americans. We just, as of yesterday, let's look here. August 1st, tariffs on U.S. goods imports are scheduled to increase for more than 80 countries, with about 71% of U.S. goods imports already facing President Trump's minimum tariffs of 10%. Much of the attention has focused on how tariffs will impact the manufactured goods sector. However, a variety of food imports are also impacted by tariffs, and these will likely lead to higher food prices for consumers. Yeah, me and other elders, hey, one of our little favorite tequilas, man. We used to be able to find it at our little hot spots and get it for a good price. That thing done jumped up like $6 now. And we like, oh, that's not nice. That's not nice. And it's coming from Mexico. So that's one of the areas I got hit with the tariffs. We already know with the agricultural foods that's coming from Mexico and other countries, gonna be a problem. It's already going up. The one thing I will say, and I got to keep it real, one thing I will say you got under control is gas prices. For the first time in I don't know how long, for the past few months, gas is under $4 here in California, and that's unprecedented. No, it's true. My son look at me like, what? Gas is under $4, man. When the last time you been in the gas station? Gas is like $3.90, $3.89, something like that for unleaded. If you still dealing with Supreme and everything else, it's still over $4. But either way, that's lower than we were dealing with before. Remember under Biden, it was down at $7 and $8 in some places. But I give him credit on that. Everything else, man, he can go to hell. The rest of the stuff, he jacked up everything. So letting it be known, man, strap up, get ready. I'm not going to give y'all the speech about being prepared, making sure you got a little extra food in there because you never know. Y'all already know where I stand at with it. You should already be doing the same thing. Food prices go up. If you bought something early at a lower price, you ain't got to worry about, having to run to the grocery store and what's it going to cost you because you've already got some things that's already going to get you and your family by for a little bit, if need be. I mean, if you got it and the Lord's blessed you and you ain't tripping, all praises, but always be prepared. Look, U.S. manufacturing contracts, not contracts. That's a double, what is it we call that? I forgot they say. A word that's spelled the same, but it's got different meaning. When I first read this, I was like, manufacturing contracts are at the fastest pace in 9 months. That sounds like a good thing. Maybe he isn't lying. No. Contracts, meaning shrinking. U.S. manufacturing is shrinking at its fastest pace in 9 months. Even though he said, the tariffs are going to bring jobs back, and a lot of companies is all bowing down, and they're going to bring it in, and no. U.S. manufacturing is down. U.S. factory activity contracted in July at the fastest pace in 9 months, dragged down by a faster decline in employment as orders continue to shrink. Also, those tariffs, people aren't taking these U.S. manufactured goods right now. Orders are shrinking. Manufacturing is already dipping. What little bit of manufacturing that's left here in America? A lot of stuff they ain't even manufacturing here no more. Everything's imported. So with the tariffs, they hitting up all these other countries. They got to pay the higher taxes. Guess what? When they come back over here, tariffs getting hit. They got to pay the taxes. Who's got to pay for it? You, me, and everybody else that's consuming. Manufacturing is down. After he said he was going to bring it in, and look, the Institute for Supply Management and Manufacturing Index decreased 1 point last month to 48. According to data released Friday, the gauge has been below 50, which indicates contraction for 5 straight months. How long has he been in office? He's been in office for going at the beginning of 8 months right now. He said stuff was coming back. It's looking good. Everything's great. No, for the past 5 months, it's been going down. Manufacturing has been contracting, shrinking. Employment, jobs are being lost. Orders are down. Ain't nothing happening. America's on its way out the door. Deborah says, U.S. has the World Bank at this time. However, they continue to pump out dollars. Well, I guess you took that off. I'm just reading the comment. Anyway, let's continue. Look, inside Trump's Office of Civil Rights. This is how you know, man, we're in a bizarro world. The Civil Rights Office in the White House now has been replaced by white men. They're going to dictate civil rights now, right? How are they going to talk about civil rights when they are the proponents of violating civil rights? This is part of making America great again. This is part of the white supremacist agenda that he came in with, that he cloaked himself saying, no, I'm not like that, man. The blacks love me. Latinos love me. What? And all the Jasons out there bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now you see how he's transforming the White House into literally the White House. When the Civil Rights Department, civil rights officers now are being anybody of ethnic minorities or or anybody of minorities that was actually supposed to be running the department now has been replaced by white men. The education agency that investigates discrimination claims faces a sinister overhaul. Current and former staff tells the Times Donald Trump spent years raging against the Biden administration for elevating women and ethnic minorities into positions for which he said they were not qualified. Now a president who pledged to crack down on favoritism towards select groups in government is being accused of the same bias in reverse. Yeah, so when he's talking about, with some things I'm not tripping about. You get the LGBTQ plus HIV, he was talking about getting them up out of there. Cool. Women in positions of authority, ruling over men, cool. But now you're saying, well, that's favoritism, but at the same time, you flipping it, throwing your own in there. That's favoritism. So white men are now going to be in control of your civil rights. They're going to decide what's, racist and what's not, what's discriminatory, what isn't. And they're always the proponents, and they're always on the other end of the problem. So, we're this place is in trouble, man. Now you're going to see why civil unrest can go down, because when particular claims are being ignored, thrown out the window, being called a hoax, all that good stuff, man, people are going to get pissed off and going to lose their mind, because now the government is not going to be able to back up your quote unquote civil rights because white man is going to control it. And you say, well, they've always been controlling it. Yeah, but now they're just outright saying it and showing it with physical representations now. Now they're not puppeteering little black women and sodomite men running around. They're not puppeteering them no more. They say, move out the way. We're blatantly going to show you we're running everything. At the Office of Civil Rights, a sub-agency of the Department of Education, staff say they are baffled by the crop of new political appointees entrusted with leading the agency's fight against discrimination in public education. They're just white, straight, male DEI hires, a senior supervisor who recently left the agency told the Times. The irony of all this is that the same people in the front office of the OCR are now the same political appointees who were screaming their heads off about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Remember that? When they ran through, they shut down the DEI office. They said, man, enough with all this race-based politics, man. You guys got hired because you're black, because you're Hispanic, because you're gay, because you're South. Like, now they cleaned house and they said, well, you're getting hired because they're white, straight, male. All this place is just corrupt and disgusting. Wild stuff going on, y'all. Let's move on. U.S. plan to destroy contraceptives sparks uproar. Oh, sounds like a great idea, right? But look at this. Not for here, because it sounds like, yeah, finally, America's upholding the law. No more abortion. The U.S. administration. Decision to destroy $10 million worth of women's contraception products has sparked furious condemnation from doctors and age groups who have slammed the move as a wasteful attack on women's rights. The contraceptives are being stored in Belgium and are reportedly planned to be incinerated in France. Both European countries are under pressure to prevent the destruction. July 18, British newspaper The Guardian cited 2 U.S. Congress sources as saying that President Donald Trump's administration planned to destroy $9.7 million worth of contraceptives, which are mostly acting such as IUDs and birth control implants. The contraceptives intended for some of the world's poorest countries. Notice, it's not for America. Well, you're still going to be able to kill your baby. You're still going to be able to do all that stuff here. That's why I said it's going to be states' rights, but I'm not telling you don't do that. But on the flip side, you see here is they don't want any more so-called blacks being produced. They're saying, yeah, give them contraceptives, destroy them. Now they're mad because Trump is saying, no. I'm destroying that, man. Y'all gonna have to deal with them situations. Because look here. Those contraceptives was going to the poorest countries, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, and they're stored in a warehouse in the Belgian city of Geel. So yeah, they're concerned about the Hamites and the Africans coming up. They trying to control them, and they saying we don't want them out here, right? There you go. Let's continue on. Yeah, Deborah, that's correct. Agent Orange said he's giving women. Is he giving I know he said he was going to give the babies put the money in $1,000 account for them. Now that also is a trick because what type of account is going to be set at? It's all going to be digitized. Just a long story short, they're pushing towards cashless society, digital control money. Your money's going to be held hostage. The baby's going to be held hostage as ransom. We gave the money. The baby is part of our investment. We're going to control the money, this, that, and the third. When it gets older, we're going to say we can shut it off if you go against us. They're using that for control. That's a fact. They ain't gonna send checks out to people. They're gonna be stored in digital accounts. But yeah, good point. Look at this. Now, this is another thing. Trump administration is launching a new private health tracking system with big tech's help. We've been talking about it. Palantir, Oracle. And I showed y'all the WEF, the World Economic Forum, their digital ID system. Remember it said that they're going to control your health information. He's the one sliding in all of these things, man. Now, RFK Jr. said he wants everybody having wearable tech within the next 4 years. 5 years, I believe. Right? Now look what we're saying. It's all here. More than 60 companies, including major tech companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, as well as healthcare giants like United Health Group and CVS Health have agreed to share patient data in the system. I mean, what happened to HIPAA laws? What happened to PHI, private health information? Now they're sharing your health data with the government. Google, Amazon, Apple. Notice you got the Google watches, the watching your step and all that. Amazon listening in on everything, tracking everything. Apple Watch. I mean, listen, y'all. I've been saying, y'all already know everything got backdoors in it. Yes, it might help you stay healthy, it might help you keep your calorie count down, all the other stuff, man. But they're recording and they're reporting all that information, so that when they need to start controlling your prescriptions, when they need to start controlling your doctor visits and appointing you to their doctors, you can't go to your own doctors no more. It's going to be governmental doctors who are all contracted to the doctors. You're going to be getting your virtual appointments with AI. You know, like all that stuff is going to be changing, man. And this is where they're showing you the implementation of it slowly but surely. It's a slow drip. It's like an IV, a heroin. You know, it's in your arms right now. You feel it coming in. You get to laying back and relaxing, and you fall asleep. You're acting like, man, I don't even feel it. Yeah, but that drip is going doop, 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 and it's going down. Right? The initiative will focus on diabetes and weight management, conversational artificial intelligence that helps patients, see that, and digital tools such as QR codes. How many times I've been talking about that? And apps that register patients for check-ins or track medications. Quote, for decades, America's healthcare networks have been overdue for a high-tech upgrade, President Donald Trump said during an event with company CEOs at the White House on Wednesday. Existing systems are often slow, costly, and incompatible with one another. But with today's announcements, we can take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age. Isn't that nice? He cares about you. He cares. He's saying, yeah, I got you. I'm going to make sure you're good. Right? Let me just remind y'all real quick. Let me just remind y'all, just in case we forgot, what goes on in that. Oh, shoot, I don't want that. Get out of here. I just want a quick little thing. Remember this? Where is it at? It says healthcare, right at the top. Let me zoom in for you. What are we talking about? A digital ID. Entities for people, devices, and things. This is going to be a universal ID that they want to implement. And it's also going to have what? For healthcare. For users to access insurance, treatment, to monitor health devices. Didn't we just get reading that? Wearables. Isn't that what RFK Jr. said he wants to have everybody having? For care providers to demonstrate their qualifications. Oh, isn't that nice? It's here. It is here. Let's move on. Trump administration urges federal employees to talk religion at work. Oh, I wonder why. Listen, man, don't fall for this fork-tongued foolishness. See, our people be thinking, see, he's with back in the First Amendment and freedom of religion and all that. You ain't got to hide no more. These Israelites out here, man. I don't want my friends at work, man. Cause, I don't want anybody knowing. Man, if you don't knock it off, they're gonna drug out and get out the information out of you regardless. Now they're just saying you can speak about it. Oh, what those things on your shirt? Hey, what's on your dress? And see, you wear that all the time. I've been meaning to ask you. Now we can talk about it openly. You used to be able to say, man, yeah, it's spiritual, it's religious. I don't talk religion at work, man. Let me keep it moving. Unless it's an Israelite, you say, man, holler at me after work, man. We can talk about it. But now they're saying, hey, be open, talk about it so we can track and trace and we can find out what you're up to. Why are you all of a sudden, he's urging federal employees to talk religion at work? Why do you think that is? You think because he loves it out? You think because he's concerned about your religious freedoms, man? Federal employees can display religious items at work, pray in groups while not on duty, and encourage coworkers to adopt their faith. Oh, you can proselytize in there. You can teach the truth. That let some more ignorant Negro or Hispanic in the truth. I'm gonna start teaching at work now. That's what they want you to do, man. They gonna get your butt up out of there. Let alone we just got to see in the Amazon wearable tech to listen in on everything. You know, they got spies all over the damn place. They're coming in listening to every damn conversation you want to talk. Be discreet, man. Make sure you're moving in wisdom. Understand and know and discern your conversations, who you're dealing with, because this is what they're trying to do. They want to get you to keep opening up and yapping your mouth. And next thing you know, you wonder why you didn't got fired, why you getting persecuted, why your house is under surveillance. They already got all your information. HR got every damn thing. They know where you live, your birthday, they got everything. Now you got to do is just keep yapping about your faithful convictions. Most High got me. I'm gonna do. Scripture say, man, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of that time. So don't just jump out the window and just take the bait. You really believe this? You think this is all good? You got to be wise, man. Still live your life. Do what you're doing. Turn down we got the pizza party at work, man. Turn down the swine. Continue to do that. You ain't gonna say, hey, y'all, hold on. Before y'all eat that swine, you know, Leviticus 11 says we should be, and then Deuteronomy 14. That's not your time to teach, man. You take that opportunity, man. You're gonna get fired so damn fast your head's gonna spin. Well, Trump said we could do it. Trump, he said a whole lot of things that get you caught up in it he lied about. So be careful, y'all. Federal employees can display religious items at work, pray in groups while not on duty, and encourage co-workers to adopt their faith according to guidance released Monday by the Office of Personnel Management, which manages the federal civilian workforce. In a memo titled Protecting Religious Expression in the Federal Workplace, OPM Director Scott Cooper said that the government workforce should be a, quote, welcoming place for employees who practice a religious faith. So what I will say is, for brothers and sisters that do work federal jobs, that you've been scared to wear your fringes because you're saying, hey, I got to wear this uniform. Wear your fringes now. Now you don't have no excuse, okay? Get in the law. Don't be talking about, I wear it under my T-shirt, under my other shirt. And you can, they saying, if you work a federal job, but wear your fringes now. Sisters, you ain't got to say, hey, they making me wear pants at my job. I don't like it. You should have been pushed the issue for your religious rights and your reasoning as to why you need to wear a skirt or dress at work or whatnot, right? But now you have every right. There's no more excuses as to why you can't be in compliance with the law all the time. Because I know a lot of times a lot of Israelites out there be making excuses. I can't do that. That's my job. You can now if you work a federal job. They saying they're back here. Now, those things I would express, and you can stay and practice laws in those aspects. But do you need to run around trying to proselytize and slapping, hot dogs out of people's mouths? No. All right, you get the point. Allowing religious discrimination in the federal workplace violates the law. Cooper said in the memo, it also threatens to adversely impact the recruitment and retention of highly qualified employees of faith. So now they're acting as if they're desperate, It's hurting them being able to hire people because of their religious convictions. So be careful in that, but take advantage of that as well, if you feel it. Look at it. We're creating AI that can surveil U.S. citizens, and the government is in on it. Oh, really? Tell us something we don't know. Another evidence, another, witness to let us know where everything is headed. President Trump recently gathered CEOs for a summit about renewing the United States, quote, spiritually and financially. Yeah, he's getting ready to institute more of a devilish spirit in here and financially wrecking the place. He's saying that they renewing spiritually. Renew? What? He's about to institute the spirit of Satan even greater. At the top of the agenda was a closer look at, quote, American values such as faith and freedom. Now notice, and all of this too is a ploy as well, because he's under attack, and a lot of the moral standards has been coming into question because of his involvement with Epstein and all of that, right? And now we're seeing him trying to appease people, by offering little gifts. You know what the scriptures say about a gift destroyed the heart, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad in Ecclesiastes 7. Yeah, this is what he's trying to do. Hey, you know, want to make sure that you can be religiously free over here, man. Don't worry about it. I got your back. I'm gonna destroy contraceptives. I'm gonna give you $1,000 for a baby. I'm paying women. Like, he thinks he can give these gifts, man, but it's gonna destroy people's minds and hearts. He thinks he's gonna distract away from all of the folly and the foolishness that he's been up to. No. Don't fall for it. It says there's cause for alarm. However, centuries after Americans declared independence from the British monarchy, our freedom and liberty are under threat, not only from foreign governments like China, but potentially our own. So the article later, you know, went on talking about the different arms of the Hydra, or the, you know, this damn beast that's involved with AI surveillance, so forth and so on, like we talked about with Palantir and Oracle and others, Amazon, Google, all part of the surveillance grid, all part of the entrapment that you know, they're setting up for everybody. Look at it. What am I falling in love with? Human AI relationships are no longer just science fiction. Yeah, they're talking about the people getting turned out with their relationships with AI. We've seen the articles about kids having AI as best friends now, people having AI relationships. There was one video, man, this Edomite man was having a relationship with a damn AI, and his wife got jealous. She's tripping like, what am I not doing that he's going to AI for companionship? I need to work on my relationship. You know, all of this is complete madness, man. People are losing their damn minds, man. Falling in love with computers and AI chatbots. Chatbots are telling you to kill yourself, kill your parents, telling them, you know, go out there and commit mass shootings. I mean, all kind of wild stuff going on, man. And that's why the scriptures also say, man, idleness teaches much evil, man. When people ain't got nothing else to do, they getting online talking to a damn chat bot, telling them everything they want to hear. And next thing you know, they're going out there committing all kind of horrors. But people are believing the hype and falling in love with AI, and it's getting ridiculous. All right, let's move on. Look at this. Sam Altman's doomsday bunker confession as OpenAI CEO fears bombs are dropping. Why are the elites even talking about getting their own bunkers from this guy, OpenAI? Sam Altman is the one who created OpenAI. He's talking about how he knows bombs are going to be coming, and we need to go ahead on and get to these bunkers. So Revelation 9 tells us that the rich and powerful men are going to seek to be hidden under the rocks. Isaiah 2 tells us the same thing. And this is all prophetic, man. So you see here, they talking about World War III breaking out. This ain't just the Israelites talking about it. Now you're hearing OpenAI CEOs and top-notch elites are saying, we know it's coming. We're going to go ahead on and do our part by getting in these damn bunkers, and hopefully we'll survive. So it ain't just hype, y'all. It's prophetic, and they know it. They're following along the same blueprint that we understand and know that's going to prevail. So if they're doing that, then what's that mean for the kingdom of heaven? What's that mean for the salvation of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? They know that that's coming too. That's right. So we see where their minds is at. Let's move on. We know about the earthquakes that kicked in. Even from that, that's even another indicator. Earthquakes in diverse places. Off the coast of Russia impacted Hawaii, Japan, Russia. Tsunami warnings all the way here to the West Coast. Matter of fact, I did see, I don't know if y'all seen some of the impact. I think this was over in Japan. Y'all can see some of the devastation. I'm sure some of y'all may have seen other videos online as well. I just wanted to share that because You know, kind of puts things into perspective. Now, this is low level tsunamis. Imagine when the waves is, 20, 30 feet high coming down. All them little beachfront properties, and all them little hotels and resort towns, and you're gone. You forget about it, man. Hawaii finished, right? When it's really going down, right? So we had the 8 point, what was it, almost 9.0, almost 9.0. It was 8 point something. I think 8.7 off of the coast of Russia. We had a 4 point, I think it was like 4.7, something like that the other day here. And I was in a meeting at work, and people was like, "You feel that? Oh shoot!" They over there panicking. I'm like, "What the hell?" And it was out by Fontana. I think it was the epicenter of it. So obviously there's a concern regarding the quote unquote circle of fire, where there's a circle of volcanoes and fault lines around the Pacific Northwest, Hawaii, Pacific Oceans that are being triggered. Now, whether this is from geoengineering or anything, we're just going to chalk it up as the Most High is visiting this place and others. So the increase of earthquakes, let's not be surprised if we see any more, but we're seeing judgment happen on all fronts, right? Even in Iran, they're talking about a drought in the capital city. This city could run dry within weeks as it grapples with an acute water crisis. Iran's capital city of Tehran could be weeks away from day zero, experts say, the day when taps run dry for large parts of the city as the country suffers a severe water crisis. Key reservoirs are shrinking. Authorities are scrambling to reduce water consumption, and residents are desperately trying to conserve it to stave off a catastrophe. Very interesting that some of the enemies of the GMO small-hat Israelis are all facing food and water crises, from Gaza. Now Iran is suffering a water shortage and water crises, starving them out. Very interesting, the weapons that's being used, man. Food being used as a weapon. So Iran is facing drought. Water supply is being rationed out, starved out over there in Gaza, so forth and so on. Food shortages and cost of living, or at least getting food, is the issue that we're facing over here, as well as many other countries, man. From Haiti, they're over there eating mud cakes. I mean, what mud cookies and all. So when you hear about Yahweh when he's making mention about famines, don't just look at what's going on in your immediate surroundings, man. Because we're getting, discounted food or fast food spots or whatever the case may be, and Dollar Trees are still open. Those things is coming as a rarity. From, remember, Dollar Generals is closing down. 99-cent stores don't exist no more. Being able to find discounted foods and things of that nature, man, is going to be even more rare. So with that being understood, and we can see, third world countries is already suffering famines. So the famine is already, blatantly here in many parts of the earth. We just look at our media and we thinking, oh, because I can go, buy a burger for 99 cents over here, there's no famine. No, you got to look at it outside of your particular surroundings. What's the world dealing with? And it's there. Yeah, it adds up, don't it? That you say almost spent almost a note, man, because you thinking, oh, boom, look right it. You're right. I was at this. We used to live out in a city called Canyon Country some years ago. I think we didn't live there, and we moved out there. We moved from there in 2013. Lived out there for a couple of years, and there used to be this store. We're not even used to. It's still there. They used to have all kind of good discounted stuff. All the overstock stuff, everything you get at a good deal. And we happened to be out there a few weeks ago, a day of a family reunion, and we was in a neighboring city of Valencia. So we drove over to Canyon Country. I was like, let me see if that store is still there. Sure enough, it was there. said, oh man, let's go in here and see what we can find. Go in there. I'm thinking I'm just gonna get a couple things. Left out of there, spent $70-some. I'm like, good Lord. But that's what happens when you find the stuff like I got this AG1 protein powder. That's what I was talking about last week. It's a protein, greens, nutrients powder. It's typically like $70-some. I think I bought it for like $8 or something like that at the place. And no, it's not expired. It's good. But that's the type of stuff that they just get overstock all kind of stuff, and they like, man, we'll get it up out of here. So you find stuff, man, that's of a great value at that store. So I was like, man, I got to go there. But yeah, you end up going to these little discount spots, man, and you're trying to load up on things and not realizing you think you're going to save a little money and you end up spending more than you expected. But it is what it is. But with that being said, man, I'm going to go and get up out of here and give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High while you're on the side. Always remember, man, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. See y'all in the near future, man. Y'all be well. Shalom.